Hi guys, this is your girl Wakeji Kamore and welcome to Reflections by Wakeji Kamore. We are currently studying the book of 2 Samuel, which we are covering chapter by chapter. Today I'll be reading chapter 20. And afterwards, I will share my main takeout, so please stay with me until the end. And don't forget to invite a friend to listen to this by sharing this link. All right, so the last chapter we read, David has returned and he's become the king, but kuna some sort of civil war almost, building up. All right, so let's read about this. So this is chapter 20. It says, there happened to be a troublemaker there named Sheba, son of Bichri, a man from the tribe of Benjamin. Sheba blew a ram's horn and began to chant, "Down with the dynasty of David. We have no interest in the son of Jesse. Come on, you men of Israel, back to your homes." So all the men of Israel deserted David and followed Sheba, son of Bichri, but the men of Judah stayed with their king and escorted him from the Jordan River to Jerusalem. When David came to his palace in Jerusalem, he took the 10 concubines he had left to look after the palace and placed them in seclusion. Their needs were provided for, but he no longer slept with them. So each of them lived like a widow until she died. You guys remember the 10 concubines that Absalom slept with in public? Ndio hao wamewekwa in seclusion. Now they are just over there. Then the king told Amasa, "Mobilize the army of Judah within 3 days and report back at that time." So Amasa went out to notify Judah, but it took him longer than the time he had been given. Then David said to Abishai, Then David said to Abishai, "Sheba, son of Bichri, is going to hurt us more than Absalom did. Quick, take my troops and chase after him before he gets into the fortified city where we can't reach him." All right, so David has told Amasa. Amasa is a new commander-in-chief to mobilize an army. This guy has taken too long. So David is like, let me just talk to this other guy, Abishai. They already know how we do things. So he's just like, "Why, Abishai, take a troop, go and look for this guy called Sheba before he gets away and we can't reach him." So Abishai and Joab, together with the king's bodyguard and all the mighty warriors, set out from Jerusalem to go after Sheba. As they arrived at the great stone of Gibeon, Amasa met them. Amasa was like, "Siachwi kwa hii, hata kama sijaorganize army, siachwi, I am going." Amasa met them. Joab was wearing his military tunic with a dagger strapped on his belt, and he stepped forward to greet Amasa. He slipped the dagger from its sleeve. "How are you, my cousin?" Joab said, and took him by the beard with his right hand as though to kiss him. Amasa didn't notice the dagger in his left hand, and Joab stabbed him in the stomach with it so that his insides gushed out to the ground. Joab did not need to strike again, and Amasa soon died. Joab and his brother Abishai left him lying there and continued after Sheba. One of Joab's young men shouted to Amasa's troop, "If you are for Joab and David, come and follow Joab." But Amasa lay in his blood in the middle of the road, and Joab's men saw that everybody was stopping to stare at him. So he pulled him off the road of the field and threw a cloak over him. With Amasa's body out of the way, everybody went on with Joab to capture Sheba, son of Bichri. Meanwhile, Sheba traveled through all the tribes of Israel and eventually came to the town of Abel Beth Maach. All the members of his own clan, the Bichrites, assembled for battle and followed him into the town. When Joab's forces arrived, they attacked Abel Beth Maach. They built a siege ramp against the town's fortifications and began battering down the walls. But a wise woman in the town called out to Joab, said, "Listen to me, Joab. Come over here so I can talk to you." As he approached, the woman asked, "Are you Joab?" "I am," he replied. So she said, "Listen carefully to your servant." "I'm listening," he said. Then she continued, "There used to be a saying, if you want to settle an argument, ask advice at the town of Abel. I'm the one who is peace, loving, and faithful in Israel. But you are destroying an important town in Israel. Why do you want to devour what belongs to the Lord?" And Joab replied, "Believe me, I don't want to devour or destroy your town. That's not my purpose. All I want is a man named Sheba, son of Bichri, from the hill country of Ephraim, who has revolted against King David. If you hand over this one man to me, I will leave your town in peace." "All right," the woman replied, "we will throw his head over the wall to you." Then the women went to all the people with her wise advice, and they cut off Sheba's head and threw it out to Joab. So he blew the ram's horn and called his troops back from the attack. They all returned to their homes, and Joab returned to the king at Jerusalem. Now Joab was the commander of the army of Israel. Rise to that point. Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, was the captain of king's bodyguard. Adoniram was in charge of forced labor, rather in charge of slaves. Jehoshaphat, son of Ahilud, was the royal historian. Shepha was the court secretary. Zadok and Abiathar were the priests. And Idra, a descendant of Jair, was David's personal priest. And that's the end of the chapter. Well, so in the previous chapter, David's return was a great celebration and a journey filled with kindness. However, it was also a display by the tribe of Judah that they felt more entitled to honor their king than other tribes. And the other tribes, of course, were not very happy with that. And this is what we see unfolding in this chapter. Other than that, we see the issue with Joab. Joab, who was initially the commander of David's army, but he had been replaced with Amasa, who was the commander of Absalom's army. And of course, this must have pained Joab and left him bitter. So much so that he grabbed the first opportunity that he saw to kill Amasa. Then we have this guy called Sheba. You see, the thing is, God's plan for Israel included peace and unity as they followed David. Sheba's rebellion was like a cancer or a disease that threatened the political, the economical, and spiritual health of Israel. Sheba threatened not only the safety of the city, but the unity of the whole nation. He has actually gone to all Israel tribes before he has settled in this one town. And he's shouting all the things that he's shouting and chanting all the things that he's shouting against David. So he's actually a threat to the safety and the unity of the whole nation. It was definitely more than a political rebellion. It was a rebellion against God, who had chosen David to be the king of Israel. So when David's army pursued Sheba, he hid in a city called Abel of Beth Makar. A spokeswoman of the city wisely recognized the terrible danger the city was in and negotiated peace in exchange for Sheba's head. Sheba kakatwa kichwa kikatupuka over the wall, and there was peace. You see, the thing is, no one is immune. No one is immune from the attitude of rebellion against the Lord. Just as in today's chapter, any form of rebellion against God acts as a cancer in our spiritual lives, in our church's family, in our nation's family. Like, it's actually a rebellion is a bigger thing than it seems. It's not just a rebellion in your life. It's a rebellion that affects your family. It affects your church. It affects the whole nation as a wide. So take a few minutes to think about the ways that your life is right now. Ask yourself, what habit in your life is threatening your growth in the Lord and needs to be cut out of your life? What habit in your life right now is threatening the growth in the Lord, or your growth in the Lord, and needs to be cut out from your life? Ask God for wisdom to see what might be hindering your growth. Take time to look at how that attitude and behavior could be negatively affecting your family, your work, your church, and act immediately to get rid of it. Man, don't wait for its head to be chopped off by someone else. Just you yourself, chop it off. Act immediately. Ask God for wisdom to show you what habit could be threatening your growth in the Lord, could be threatening your family, could be threatening, which rebellion or which act is more, life-threatening for not just yourself, but also the people around your life. And then act immediately. This is your girl Wakeji Kamore, and this has been Reflections by Wakeji Kamore. See you tomorrow.